Hey there, I'm Anthony Romano, and this video is going to tell you all about the #1 mistake you can make on a ketogenic diet. And I should know because I've been doing keto for 8 years and I've been coaching people, and I've seen so many people do it wrong, so many people do it right, and I've heard so many people that I didn't work with that said, oh, I can never do that, I can never, give up carbs, it's not meant for me. Newsflash. If you're a human being, you can do a ketogenic diet. It is physiologically ingrained in you. Your body enters deep states of ketones the moment you stop eating food for longer than a day, and every single night you go to bed, your body makes small amounts of ketones. So your body is totally capable of being in a ketogenic diet. There's just one simple mistake everybody makes that fucks everything up. So I'm going to explain that to you very quickly in this video. So a ketogenic diet is powerful, okay? I can only express that so much, and it's a great tool for fat loss, and it's an amazing tool to base your lifestyle around, okay? It doesn't mean you have to be keto 100% of the time, but there's nothing wrong if you decided to do that. You'll feel better, and the reason people never shut the hell up about keto is because they do feel better, and that's why they're so evangelical about it. So the #1 mistake people make is having carbs too early. That's it. That is the #1 mistake. And that comes from one of two methods. Either consciously somebody thinks it's easier if they do a carb up day or a carb load day, where they're like, yeah, I'll do keto like 3 days out of the week, and then the 4th day I'll do carb ups. No. Or carbs slip in to their food, because if you go to the grocery store and you're actually conscious of looking for sugar, you will see that 90% of food has added sugar to compete on taste. That is the main purpose. And the worst part is, even if it's not listed in the nutritional label, it might be in the additional ingredients, okay? You might see modified cornstarch, aka MSG, or other sugars slipping into the ingredients. So there's a lot of hidden sugars, and it strays from the natural food itself, okay? But that's not the topic of this video. So those are the two methods, but I want to focus on the first one more, because the hidden sugar video is its own thing, and that's something you'll concern yourself with once you realize that keto is the best way to go forward. And it's at least something that you should try out, and try in the right way first, because from there you can figure out how much you want to use it, okay? I'm not like the other YouTube pages where people are like, you have to do this 100% of the time. No, this is a tool for you. I'm telling you to use the tool. I'm giving you the keys to a Ferrari, and I'm telling you, dude, just drive it around however often you want to. So the problem with people with this whole carb up strategy, okay? People think, okay, this is daunting, this is difficult, I don't want to have to give up carbs, because every time I go without carbs, I get really hungry. Now here's the problem. Every single one of us was raised on a carb metabolism. Now, we're born in ketosis, we produce ketones while we're sleeping, but the longer you go without food, the more your body starts to make ketones, and the more it starts to actually oxidize its own fat, and mobilize it more so. So when we're looking at people coming from a carb metabolism, it's obvious that their body's trying to keep them in a carb metabolism. Carbs are the luxury fuel, and if you think about nature, none of them grow in the winter. So it's very advantageous to us as a species that whenever carbs are around, we take this quick burning fuel and stock up on it, because they're very highly likely to produce insulin, which is likely to produce fat storage. So your body, because it only cares about survival and reproduction, thinks, wow, this guarantees that I can live another day, because it's more likely to produce fat storage. So besides the fact that it's a quick burst fuel, it's the emergency fuel. But of course your body can make its own carbs, but the main issue is this. When we're talking about practicality of implementation, somebody who's thinking that it's easier to do 3 days keto, 1 day carbs, 3 days keto, 1 day carbs, that is the #1 scenario I've seen where people are doing some sort of strategic carb inclusion wrong, messes up the whole experience, because it keeps their body in a carb metabolism. Your body needs to be in a keto metabolism 100% of the time for the first 4 to 8 weeks, really, before you start getting a lot of these grand scale benefits. Now keep in mind, after day 3, most people have amazing benefits already, but they just get 10 times better after at least a month of keto dieting. Excuse my dog there. Basically, when you have, if you've watched my videos, you know that I have a couple key principles I throw around. Like I always talk about these exogenous ketone supplements because I say they're the best appetite suppressant. because they put your body in ketosis regardless of what you've done. Even though your body didn't make these ketones, your body still acts the same. So the reason I say a lot of these strategies, or like digestive enzymes, is because at the start, the most important thing is getting adapted. That is literally the number one thing. And in one of my new programs coming out very soon, maybe it's up at this time, Keto Pro Start, I explain a lot of ways to navigate around this. But getting adapted is key up front. And people think it's not possible, but it's simply a momentum, okay? It's a law of momentum, because once you have 3 days in a ketogenic state, you don't have the desire to have carbs. For some people, it takes longer. If they're more overweight, it takes longer. But as far as adaptation and like grand scale adaptation, after 4 to 8 weeks, most people are adapted. And that is when you can start including carbs, because you don't crave them anymore and your body's no longer dependent on them. You have to kick that dependence. And another side note, besides the fact that I'm one of the only people talking about keto who says, you have to get that 4 weeks in at least, when you do incorporate carbs, you're going to want to use a digestive enzyme. That's another reason why I talk about enzymes so much, because a lot of people, they'll do keto for a long time and they'll remove gluten, they'll remove soy, other wheat proteins, a lot of these inflammatory foods. And when they introduce them back, obviously their sensitivity to them is gone, it's lacking. So when people are trying to make keto into a lifestyle, literally it's a matter of just helping your body digest these foods once they're back into your diet, okay? Because they're normally causing a stress response to your body and when it has to break them down. But this doesn't mean you have to use enzymes for every meal the rest of your life, even though that would be beneficial from a muscle building standpoint from my other videos. But example, when somebody's first getting into things, it's just about getting the training wheels up, and then eventually, once you're in motion, you take them off. That is the whole principle of the number one mistake people make. So example, something like ketones, they're not necessary. They're a luxury, but they are a literal cheat code to get you in ketosis and to make that first month easier, amongst other things, because once you're adapted to, like, these things are basically the closest thing to, a limitless pill in certain ways. But you can watch my videos on that as well. And then the other component of the training wheels is with these digestive enzymes. Once you're reincorporating carbs in a balanced way so that you're not a slave to them, like how many people are with their diets, this is where it kind of helps your body to readjust to digesting them, because it's not like you're going to be having a hard time digesting them. But I've seen some cases in my years of coaching people where somebody just goes deep into ketosis and then they start binging on carbs, okay, and then they react then they're like, holy shit, I feel bad. I'm like, yeah, dude, that's how carb overload works. It's physiologically ingrained into us. You just had less of a likelihood to show symptoms of it, right? Most people, when they overdo carbs, just get sleepy a couple hours later and they feel a little bit queasy, right? So bottom line, there's tools that can be beneficial, but that's not the subject of this video. The subject of this video and the point to hammer home is get adapted, and don't buy into the lies that you have to, do 10 days of keto and then the 11th day non-keto. That's not going to make things easier. It's only going to make things harder. That's why I have a video on cyclical keto is the hardest diet in the world, because it tricks your body into thinking, oh, we're going to go, it just doesn't know what metabolic state it's going to be in. It's like, oh, we're doing carbs. Okay, no, we're doing fat. Okay, no, there's carbs in here. We're going to do a bit of both. So the thing is, your body doesn't care what fuel source it has. It just wants to know. And if your body thinks it's going to be on a carb metabolism from little bits of carbs slipping in or from large amounts of carbs slipping in, it's not going to want you to transition over to the fat metabolism, our default metabolism, because it thinks it's in a luxury time where it's trying to store fat amongst building muscle. So that is the point of this video. Hopefully it gave you some insight. And the number one rule you need to incorporate on the beginning of a keto diet is don't let sugar into your diet. Don't let carbs slip in, because you need that first month to adapt. If you're somebody who is very sensitive to foods, of course you can use things like digestive enzymes once you start reintegrating carbs, but most people don't even have to. It's simply a luxury, just like exogenous ketones. But either way, don't let carbs slip in. Don't buy into the lies of somebody who, a lot of people, the worst part is a lot of people will say, oh, I tried keto. No, you didn't. If you didn't try keto for a month, you didn't try keto. And if you didn't try keto without any hidden sugar slipping in, you didn't do keto. A lot of people too will slip in fruits. Okay, and fruits are still sugar. So in fact, they're the most problematic type of sugar you can have on a ketogenic diet. So because they contain fructose, which gets digested in your liver and turns off ketone production. And it's the most mentally rewarding type of sugars. So example, when somebody is doing the keto diets with fructose coming in, they're basically giving their body a little hit of the most potent form of the sugar drug, if we wanted to compare it to a drug analogy, right? So it's basically if somebody's trying to quit smoking and you give them like a very high nicotine cigarette or a very high nicotine vape, right, while they're trying to quit cigarettes, it's like you're giving them a little hit here and there, but it's like, dude, you can't be, that's not the point of what you're doing here. And people don't realize that. And a lot of the keto gurus who recommend fruit are completely wrong on this. So that's a little side note. But the point is, you have to quit sugar outright when you're doing keto. And of course you can gradually go into this, but then whenever you're in the keto zone, you stay there for at least a month. And that is it for this video. So like, subscribe, go to my website, romanoketo.com, for coaching, programs, and keto gains merchandise, other keto merchandise soon. But besides that, thank you again, and peace. Also follow my Instagram. Peace.